So square root cuts things in half. So it almost seems too easy to believe. I don't have a 6 in that first problem at all. There's no 6 in here. You guys okay with that? You're the teacher, man. Some of you guys are like, yeah, that's a freaking 6 right there, man. Did you forget what? No, but what? That's not a 6. What does that mean? What does that 6 mean? What does it mean? Why did the 6? I got 6 y's. So it's really, that's not a number 6. That is telling me that there are 6 y's in there. So there are 2 7s and 6 y's, for example. One way to look at that. You with me? So don't say, I'm not picking anybody, but so often people say, well, I can't do the square root of 6. But that's not what it's saying. It doesn't say that anywhere. Square root of 49 is
7.
Because 7 times 7 is 49, right? Whoa, I got it right.
1 to the third.
And then you cut y to the 6 in half, and you get y to the third. And what's y to the third times y to the third? Yeah, y to the third times y to the third, note, is y to the 6, right? Y is square root of 49 is 7, because 7 times 7 is 49. Y is the square root of y6, y3, because y3 times y3 is y6, the same way. Cool. All right. So what about part B? Same kind of way. What's the cube root of negative 27?
3.
Negative 3. And why is the answer here not real? Because it's a cube root. Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. 2 negatives would cancel. I got 1 negative left. That's not my middle finger. I just got to be careful. I did this one semester. This kid's like, no, it's not. I swear. It's my finger. So there's always a negative left. If there's an odd number of negatives, there will be a negative left. That's why odd roots can handle it. Even roots, if there's 4 of something, about a fourth root, if it was negative, it would come out positive at the end. That's why they can't handle negative answers. Because there wouldn't be any negative answers when you raise something to the 4th power. That's why that one can handle it, one can't. So this can handle all day. What's the cube root of b cubed? B. Because it takes 3 b's to make b cubed. And again, I want to point this out. What's the understood number here? 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 goes into 3
Oh, yeah.
once. That's a shortcut for doing roots of powers. Again, it's almost crazy that parts of math could be that easy. So here, watch this. Somebody help me out. What's the square root of 5? I just said this one earlier, didn't I? What's the square root of 5?
9.
I don't freaking know. But can't I write 5 as 9 minus 4? Is that true? So if you think that this is true, that's crap, because then you're telling me that the square root of 5 is 1. No. Right? I can't distribute a square root across a minus sign, because what really is a square root? It is a power. And we know that if I said a minus b squared, you are not going to tell me that's the answer. What would you have to do to that? You have to FOIL that bad boy out, because you can't just take the square across. You with me? So you can't do a square root across a subtraction or addition. That's not good. So what you have to do here is, like I said, you have to factor that thing. Well, how do you factor that thing?
X plus 3, X minus 3.
Careful.
X minus 3.
Yeah, a couple x minus 3's, right? Oh shit is right. Your way, the middle terms would cancel. It'd have no middle term.
Sorry about that.
But so what's the square root of something squared? X minus 3, yeah. I'm not too concerned. If you put absolute value, that's cool. I understand why you did that, if you did. If nobody did, that's okay. I didn't make a big deal out of that. Remember, you can't have an answer be negative, so you have to put in absolute values if you don't know what the hell it is. I'll take those as a yes. Okay. How do I do this problem? What does a fractional power mean? What's on the bottom? How do I rewrite? What's the square root of x? How do I rewrite square root of x? X to the 1/2. And that makes sense, because the square root cuts things in half. That makes sense. So the bottom is the root, and the top is the power for a fractional power. So the first thing I want to do, though, is it's negative power. What does that mean is going to happen to the 27? No. What does a negative power do?
Good.
Flips it.
Yes.
I like it. So this is going to become 1 over 27 to the 2/3.
Is your phone this?
For some reason, no.
I'm kidding.
You wish. For some reason, people always forget that negative power. That's all it means. Whatever's being raised to a negative power flips. So that it doesn't become 3/2. Negative 2/3 is not being raised to a negative power. It is the negative power. So the 27 is going to get flipped. Now, how do I rewrite this in I almost gave it away, in radical form? What's the root? 3, because it's on the bottom, right? Cube root of 27, what do you do to that whole thing? Square it. And what's the cube root of 27? 3. And what's 3 squared? 9. Kick ass. That's how you rewrite that. You flip it first if it's negative, just to get that done and out of the way. Then you rewrite the fractional power as a radical. Bottom is the root, top is the power.
Do you have to do that in that way?
No, you can do it different ways. Yeah. How'd you do it? Oh, cool. That works beautiful. I like it. Okay. The reason I do it this way is because what if the base is unknown? Then you can't really quite do it that way. But that way works beautifully. What about part E? What's the first step there? Beautiful. It's just this times this. Square root of 150. I like it. And you can be kind of smart about it. 15 has got a 5 and a 3. 10 has got a 5 and a 2. So when I put them together, I'm going to end up with 2 5s. So I already know it's going to be 25 that I want to try to break this up. So like you said, the square root of 25 times...
6.
I'll average all that. Comes out to 6. All right. How many quarters makes $1?
4.
How many quarters makes $1.50? All right, that's all it's saying, right? 6 quarters. A square root of 25?
5.
A square root of 6? I don't know, shit. 5 root 6. How's that?
It's good.
Thank you. What about... We already did part F. I forgot I put this on here, but so that should have been easy. We did that one earlier. What's the nice cube number you can do in there?
2.
Well, eventually. But if you break 40 up as cube root of 8 times cube root of 5. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of 5 is, I don't know, third base. Somebody's like, why do you say this? Too bad. This looks freaky. I try to figure out the best format so that people don't think the wrong thing about this problem. But that says b to the 1/4 times b to the 3/10. What do I do with the powers when I have like bases multiplying? So everybody freaks out. But tell me, what's b squared times b to the 7th?
3 to the 9th.
Yeah, so your brain latches onto those nice numbers, but the math doesn't care that the numbers are gross. You still add them, right? So this is b to the power, b to the power, so I'm going to add those powers. How do I add those powers? Get like denominators. What's the LCD? 20. So this will be 5 20ths plus 6 20ths, which is b to the 11 20ths. Cool. I like it. Don't forget, don't tell me the answer is 11 20ths. The answer is b to the 11 20ths power.
You wouldn't want that radical form.
Yeah, you can put it in radical. It didn't start off in radical, so normally if you're not sure, you just leave it how it started. But what would this look like in radical form?
20th root of b.
Good. The bottom's of root, top's the power. So if you put it either way, I'm fine with it. All right, who remembers how to do this problem? What the hell? Yeah, what's got to be true about whatever number this is in order for me to do the square root of it? What's got to be true about x plus 2?
Has to be square.
Yeah, so I don't mean that I can do it, so say it again?
The denominator has to be equal to negative 2.
Not equal to. I can take, what's the lowest number I can take the square root of? Lowest number I can take the square root of, get a real number. 0. What's the square root of 0? 0. If I try to go lower than 0, what happens? Freaks out. Some of you guys know it becomes complex numbers. If you don't know that, that's the end of chapter 12. That's in our future. We don't know it yet, so you don't have to know it. So what am I saying then? The number, whatever x plus 2 is, whatever that number is, it's got to be at least 0. Because 0 is the smallest thing that a radical has. So it's got to be, how do I say at least in mathish? Yeah, greater than equal. So that number, whatever's inside, has got to be at least 0. So if the way you find any domain is you say in English what has to happen, and then you write it in mathish. And remember when we did these problems? Remember this? I said find the domain of that. What can't happen in a fraction? The bottom can't be. Remember that? You say it in English, you write it in mathish, you solve it. The beautiful thing about domain is you do the same damn thing every time. What's the English part? The inside has got to be at least 0. Solve it, so x has got to be at least negative 2. Try to plug negative 3 in there, it's going to freak the hell out, right? Let me take that away. That's an example. So what about part B?
Same thing. Do the same thing to it.
It's not the same thing. Why?
Somewhat.
What kind of root was this?
Square.
Even root, right? Square root, even root. This is an
So it's 50.
odd root. Can they handle negatives inside?
No.
Didn't we do one earlier? Look, we did one earlier. There's a cube root.
Okay.
My voice is all going up. Cube root of negative, we totally did it. Nobody complained back then. So you better not complain now. So there's no restriction. It could be negative, it could be positive, it could be 0. So what's the domain? All real numbers. You can say like negative infinity to infinity, that kicks ass, or you can say all real numbers. You can say R, that's the symbol for all real numbers, R with an extra spine, right? It's like really brave R. I don't know. No, bad joke, that's true. Holy shit, it's time to go.
It's time to go.
Alright, so we'll finish up number 3 next time. So don't forget, quiz. And then the test the following week will be however far we get in chapter 12. We'll find out.
So the test will be on chapters what?
10, 11, and then however far we get in 12.